Obama has been tight with the unions since he got in the White House, but some of those unions have been going way overboard lately. A recent ad from Mitt Romney highlighted the case of one St. Louis job creator who's been harassed for years by aggressive union organizers. Take a look at this.
They would follow our trucks to the job, and they would put up pickets. They'd try to embarrass us in front of our customers, and the hope would be that our customers would stop using us and we'd feel forced to sign an agreement with the union.
Joining me now is that man in that ad, Paul Munsch. Sir, first of all, the unions, they've been tormenting you. They've been harassing you for a long time. How long, sir?
Yes, Eric, they've been doing this for actually 12 years. They made a pass at us, as they say in that, the labor lawyers say, all the way back in 1998. The operating engineers started what they call a chaser campaign. And they had about 3 men who would park at our yard, our equipment yard, every day, and they'd try to follow us to the yards. They gave up after a while, and then the laborers union decided to engage their SWAT team, if you will. They had 6 people who would follow us to the jobs, put up a big inflatable rat. They would videotape our men, videotape our equipment. They would put pickets up, maybe 6 at a time, and you know, naturally intimidating the customers or whoever else was going to be going in and out of the establishment. Often they would turn around trucks. A delivery truck would be trying to deliver something to the site. They'd take a look at the pickets and turn around.
Let me ask you, this is really a compelling story to me. There are a couple of things that really stood out. Number one, you said your men were with you. When these union guys were trying to organize and unionize your guys, they didn't want any part of that. Is that right?
No, absolutely not. This is what they call a top-down organizing campaign. In a top-down organizing campaign, a union will try to force the owner of a company to sign a labor agreement without the approval of the workers. Now, they can do that in the construction business because they found some loophole in a law that was actually designed to make construction bids more competitive. But they hijacked that law. They use it to be able to use top-down organizing and just intimidate the workers, intimidate the owner until they finally cave.
Right. And sir, another part of this story is that you at one point out that if you unionize, you need to have 3 unions. Tell us about that and tell us what they can and can't do.
Yeah, that's the insanity of it all. You know, the unions have institutionalized the word inefficiency. They have made inefficiency an institution in this country. And what happens is that in our case, if we were union, we wouldn't be dealing with one union, we'd be dealing with 3 unions. We'd be dealing with the laborers, with the operators, and with the Teamsters. So what would happen is that the guy driving the truck couldn't get out of the truck, pick up a shovel. The guy with the shovel couldn't get on the roller, and the guy on the roller couldn't get in the truck.
Or pick up a shovel.
Or pick up a shovel, yeah.
Right, right. So, yeah, there it is, the master plan of inefficiency. Paul Munsch, thank you so much. We'd like to have you back, spend a little bit more time with you. I want to dig deep down into that a little bit and talk about how many jobs that could be created if you don't have this overhang. But we're running out of time with you, sir. I have to bring it out to the panel. Thank you, Paul Munsch. Bring it out to the all-star panel. Carolyn Heldman is back with us, along with her Republican strategist, Dee Banky, and columnist for the National Journal, Elise Jordan. You listen to a man who creates jobs, a business owner with his workers behind him saying, we don't want you unions, yet they persist. 12 years they've been bothering this guy to unionize.
Well, I think in some cases unions have become big business, and this is a money, creating new unions keeps them relevant and keeps them in the game. And so we've seen this all over the country, with the look at how graduate teachers unions and trying to organize graduate students. And then, the most disturbing scenario in my mind is the teacher unions and what's happening there.
All right. Hey, Doc, what about it? Here's a good example. This morning I was on Fox and Friends. I sat next to a guy with 34 Applebee's restaurants, and I said, hey, buddy, what's the toughest thing, what's that thing that's overhanging in the administration that's bothering you most? And he said, the NLRB. The unions are killing me. I can't hire because of the unions. Here's another guy, Paul Munsch, who basically says, I can't hire because of what's going on with the unions. Enough already. It's thuggery.
Well, of course, I would disagree. Union labor is actually more productive, and if Mr. Munsch is treating his employees properly, then he should have no fear of unionizing. And when he says that he speaks for his employees and they were all behind him, I'm sorry, I actually don't believe that. I think that employees, when they are being mistreated or not being paid enough what they're worth, I think that they are afraid to speak up about it. And every single tactic that he mentioned was legal. So to call it thuggery, I think is a bit of a stretch.
Well, it's definitely strong arming tactics. It may be legal, it still may not be pro-business. Let's put it that way, Dee. But in fact, those employees were standing behind Mr. Munsch at the time that the unions approached Mr. Munsch. He said no, they said no, yet the unions come back.
Of course, they're unwelcome. It's not only thuggery, it's big-time thuggery. It's un-American, it's anti-capitalistic, it is outdated, it needs to go away. This is ridiculous. It is just the political base.
Protest is anti-American?
Yes,
That's
it is.
how we were formed as a country. Remember the Boston
because this
Tea
is the United States of
That
America,
would be
a
today.
capitalistic country. And you know what? We don't need unions. Unions are ruining businesses.
Revolution was?
Excuse me? What does that got to do with unions?
That
I don't know what you're talking about, but bottom line, unions make it very hard for small businesses, especially to operate. This isn't right.
Hold on, guys. Hold on.
The tactics that were being used were used during the American Revolution.
Dr. Heldman, you cannot, please do not compare blowing up an inflatable rat with union members trying to create a picket line to the Tea Party.
That's what
really? The Tea Party, the group that comes in, they come in their minivans, they open up, they do a little barbecue, they say, hey, we want smaller government, they clean up their barbecue, in fact, they pick up the trash that the unions left behind in the park, and then they leave.
Yeah, the unions went less.
Well, I'm really happy that the Tea Party has peaceful, clean protests, and I love it when there's protests that leave behind a little confetti. Both are fine by my count because it's a threat of American democracy.
Quick thought, Elise.
Oh, I was just going to say, a couple of weeks ago, right around the Times Square area, there was one of those big inflatable bed bugs. And it was at a hotel that I was thinking of staying at, and the union had put up the bed bug, but I mean, that was a
anti-business.
Yeah, unions turn into a circus.
Again, you just can't.
Don't go soft on me.
With that bed bug, I'm not gonna. You can't risk the bed bug.
No, anti-business, anti-American, anti-capitalistic. Forget it. Unions need to go away.
Good job. All right, we're gonna have to leave it there. Coming up, the big battleground state of Florida has a new governor. He's kicking butt, cutting budgets, and he's here. Governor Rick Scott. Next, you're watching the Fox Business Network, the power to prosper. The next GOP debate will be sponsored by Fox News and Google next week in the crucial battleground state of Florida. That state's been plagued by high unemployment, higher than the national average, and a huge number of foreclosures. But there's a new sheriff in town, a conservative who's taken an axe to the state budget, or actually a veto pen, to cut $600 million in the waste from Florida's budget. Joining me now is Florida Governor Rick Scott. Governor, thank you for spending some time on Follow the Money tonight. Tell us, you know, you had a tough battle to get into the seat, and you promised a lot of changes for Florida. Give us a few.
It's jobs, jobs, jobs. I committed to 700,000 jobs over 7 years, and we're on track. We've gone from 12% unemployment to 10.7 this year. We've dropped 5 out of 7 months. We've generated over 70,000 jobs, and so every day I'm out there trying to build jobs. We're second to Texas. I told Governor Perry the other day, now that he's running for president, he has to worry about Florida, so help me get more jobs in Florida and forget about Texas.